Welcome back. In this video, we will continue from where we had left off. We are able to create this order object inside our view application, and when I hit the save button, we are sending it as a response and we are getting that same object back from the server, which I have consoled over here. If we just quickly look at that order group, in here I'm sending this object which is being consoled, so that's the first one, and then in return I'm getting the response which has the data and it has everything which I'm sending back. I'm sending from the application. So now what we need to do is look at saving the information into our database. Okay, I'll come back to my database again and let's see. We have ID, this is auto increment. We need the restaurant ID, so that is something which we need to configure in our post data. Sorry, yes, we are not sending it here, so why don't we first do that? So resto id will be this dot resto id. Okay, if you're not aware, we are already taking that as a prop. Okay, so that is available now. Next, user id we should get from the auth user object, so we are not worried about that right now. Amount, now in our application we have the computed property which shows the amount. However, in any kind of application where you are taking user input and it is critical information, for example the sum, it is a good idea to validate the data or the information from the client onto the server. By that I mean is we should not rely on the client to send the final total amount. Okay, because they may add these three items and then somehow manipulate the JavaScript variable to only have 10 rupees instead of 610, and then we are in a big problem. Hence it is always a good idea to validate the amount on the server. In this particular case, we really don't worry about the IDs, because if the user is changing his item from something like 220 to 170, that is fine, because in the end I'm going to create the order which he is sending us. However, the amount is something which I need to control. So we will need to iterate that when we pass it through the server, right? So let's look at that. Order, restaurant order controller, this is where we are doing the save, right? And if I open my, okay, it's not present. What happened to the log file? Storage, logs. All right, here it is. I also need the controller. So what do we have here? Total price, we don't need to rely on this, we need to iterate over it, so we will do that. Restaurant ID, right? So let's hit refresh. I think we have changed the object. Okay, I haven't saved it, hold on. So I have restaurant ID, and why don't we add this as order underscore data, and in that we send everything. Okay, it will make life a little easy. Okay, so I'll hit save, come over here. Let's say the phone number is 98200 98200, some address. I'll add this one more time, and then 160. So total is 720, right? Let me come over here, clear this out and hit save. Okay, so We have this information with us. So the first thing which we need to do is run some validation. So post data is equal to this, right? So we will get a post data array after the validation. Okay, we pass the request object, and the second parameter is where we pass the rules. So what are the rules? I need restaurant ID, right? So restaurant ID is required. It should exist in the restaurants table in the ID column. So that's done. I need the order data. That's why I had kept it as single field. Otherwise, I'll had to do multiple. So it's required and it is an array. Okay. So we have the post data. Now get the item IDs. Okay. So how do we get that? We have IDs equal to post data. Inside that we have order data, and inside order data we have ordered items, right? So let's do logger item IDs and just confirm that we are getting the information correctly. So yes, we have 21110. This is what we expected. So that's fine. Now what we need to do is we need to loop through each item, see if that item ID even exists, right? And if that is the case, then we add it. However, we also need to ensure that so the ID and the restaurant ID matches, right? So we'll first do a for each item IDs as $ID. Okay, and because this is a loop, and we will first go through each menu item and pick up the price and add it to a subtotal. So we will, and then finally add that order object. We want that this entire thing should be done in a transaction, which means either the entire thing should happen, it should select and it should insert, or it should not happen at all, so that we don't have any incomplete data. So before we do the for each loop, let's look at Laravel docs. We will do a transaction in a try-catch block. So let me check the syntax for manually doing transactions. Okay. What is that? Database transactions. This is one way of doing it inside a closure. I will take this particular approach. So first of all, I'll have a try catch block. Exception. Okay, so if there is an exception, I will just log the error. Okay, let's keep things simple. So once that is done, for each, I'll have a order total equals 0. Okay, this is inside the try catch block. Now for each ID, right? So it will be menu equals, sorry, menu query where first is resto ID. So resto underscore ID should be equal to post data resto underscore ID, and the second condition is where ID is equal to $ID first. Okay, so if I get this, so the condition is if $menu, then $order total plus equals menu, it's price, right? Yes, price. So this is done, right? Inside our try catch, why don't we log it and check first? So order total, right? And hit the save button. Order total is 720, which is exactly what we have inside our front end application. Now, see, the beauty of this approach is, let's say, you know, this is item IDs, right? For some reason, someone was able to inject one menu item which doesn't exist. So we have till 12, and let's say we have something as 99. Okay. So now, what should happen? It should, my code should be able to detect that, and it should silently ignore it, right? And I should still have my grand total as 720. So let's see what happens. I'll come over here and go back, and I again get my total as 720, which means it was ignored. Although if I log in here, we will obviously get the 99 in here as well, but it is not coming into this particular block because the if condition will not be true. Okay, so we have the total. Now what we need to do is we'll create our order entry, right? So order create, what all things do we need? We need the resto ID. Okay, so that is our restaurant ID. Then we have user ID, which is auth user ID. Okay, then we have amount, that's order total, and then is complete, can never be one in this particular case, so I'll hard code that. And then order details, order underscore details is going to be an array where, okay, so I have this in Firefox just to you know comply with what we have. So we have customer name, which is something, customer phone, and we have address, oops, sorry, and order details items. So items should be an array as well, right? So first let's see how do we get the items. We have order data, order items, so that will become dollar post data, order data, no, sorry, where is it, order data, ordered items. Okay, then we have customer name. Customer name is inside customer details, right? So we have post data, order underscore data, customer details. I'll quickly copy this. Okay, so this should work. So I'll send the response so that we can later on work with that. So I have order 201. This is the for each. Okay, this is wrong. My save should be after for each. Now we are back into the code where we need to add the transaction. So db begin transaction, right? So db begin transaction. I hit the save and db commit and db rollback. So what is happening? I'm inside a try-catch block. I start my db transaction. I do all these things. I run a loop, do queries. I get the total. I make an entry and I commit. If anything fails, my transaction is being rolled back, so no data is entered inside the orders table, right? So let's see. We have 41 rows in here, and if everything is fine, which is not. All right, so let's see what is the problem. 500 error in undefined index name. That's strange. So I have customer details, post data. Oh, I missed one key, which is this. Now it should work. So this was the logger, and if you see, oops, I shouldn't have refreshed that. Again, I'll have to type it back. Anyways, so 982.00, 982.00. We have this, this, and this. So we are on 720. Okay, hit save, and we get a success. We get the order object with the order details, which is kind of correct. And if I go to database and refresh, 43rd item is this. Seems to be fine. Let's open a new tab. And all right, where is our entry? This is not done. I think our query is not ordered properly. So what am I doing here? Order by incomplete. I'll add one more clause in the index. This is where we are sending the list of orders. So create add. So we are first of all ordering by is complete. So the zeros will come on top, and then order by descending created at, which will ensure that the new orders are on top. Okay, column not found. Okay, the D was missing. My bad. All right, so we have this. So let's make one more. I'll have one order from John Doe. 8600, 8600, something like that. One more address. Okay. Now this is interesting. We don't have any way to delete order items, which we will handle in the next episode. But for now, let's just add something to it. So this is 980. Yeah, I know we haven't handled that. Shouldn't take too much time, but we'll do it in the next episode. So hit refresh. We have John Doe. Amount is 980, incomplete, and then we will create the route where we can see the order details. So yeah, that's how we have handled the save for our order for the home delivery. Things are getting into place right now. It's getting interesting. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. I'll make certain UI changes offline, and I'll commit them, because things like the same button here and here, I'll remove them, and yeah, that you can pick up from the GitLab repository. But otherwise, yeah, we will look at every change in a new video. Thanks for watching, guys. If you do like the videos, click on the subscribe button, leave your comments, and obviously join the community so that it keeps things interesting.